Aloha everyone, welcome. We're going to go ahead and give just a couple minutes for everyone to join and then we'll go ahead and get started. Aloha everyone, for those who are just joining, we'll go ahead and get started in just a moment. While we're waiting, if you guys don't mind, go ahead and drop in the chat where you guys are from. So go ahead and drop down the city and the state you are from. We always like to get to know you too as well. Nice, it looks like we have someone from Reno. Love it. I was just out in Reno about a year ago. So close to Tahoe, very convenient. Nice, we have someone from Rochester, New York, fantastic. Vancouver, Washington, and San Jose, California. Wonderful, looks like we got pretty much all the corners covered already. Nice. Someone who's international as well from Abu Dhabi, fantastic, or Dhabi, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that properly. Perfect, we got Hawaii covered as well. Milpitas, California, representing NorCal, I love it. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started here. I just wanted to go over some basic housekeeping rules. So some things to keep in mind for today's webinar. It is truly a webinar style, so you guys can see me, but I cannot see you. So that being said, you guys have already found, of course, where the chat button is located. But if you guys have questions throughout the session today, definitely be sure to go ahead and drop those in the Q&A feature that you'll see at the bottom of your Zoom panel. We are recording today's presentation. So by all means, if you forget to take notes or if you forgot something and want a reminder, you can always watch our recording of the video. It will be on YouTube. So it'll just give us a few days, of course, to go ahead and upload it, but you'll find it there afterwards. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and put your city and state in the chat. I like to see where everyone is from, of course. For those who don't know me, I recognize a few of the names here today, but my name is Amber Owens. I'm one of the admissions counselors here at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. I'm the admissions counselor specifically for the state of California, as well as part of the Midwest and Nevada and Alaska. So definitely you guys can connect with me if you guys have any questions, but I know there's definitely more than just connecting with me. So say I know we have people from New York or international or Washington. We have all of our admissions counselors. We offer one-on-one appointments that are available to you. So if questions come up, definitely be sure to let us know, schedule an appointment. Or if you just have a quick question and just want to get it answered kind of same day, we do offer a virtual front desk. And so you can easily log on and go ahead and click on the Zoom link. It'll take you to our virtual front desk. That is going to be Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time to 4 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. So definitely just be sure to keep that time difference in mind. And of course, you guys are always welcome to connect with us via email at our manoa.admissions@hawaii.edu email. We are, of course, also on social media. So pretty much whatever method works for you all in connecting with us also works for us. We know in this COVID world, things can kind of get a little weird and, you know, everything's virtual now. So we are here to support you in any way possible. So during the session today, we are going to go ahead and cover a few different topics. So of course, the title of today's session is Winter Break Checklist. So we'll go over some application reminders for those who have not submitted their application yet. For those who have applied, but you haven't heard back from us, we'll go ahead and touch bases on what the next steps are for you. We will also go ahead and go over a little bit more about our new Warrior Checklist for those who have been accepted already to the university. And of course, for all students, we'll go ahead and touch bases on our upcoming deadlines. So I know we have students of all different stages in the admissions process here today. So definitely we'll try to cover the basics of what you need to know this winter break. And we hope, of course, you all are staying safe during this time as well. So first things first, application checklist. I think personally to me, the most important thing to note is that our priority deadline for fall 2021 is coming up on January 5th, 2001. So coming up in just under a month from, this month, of course. And then also we have our final deadline coming up on March 1st. So that you still have a few months for, but I will recommend for all students, no matter where you are from, to go ahead and submit that application by our priority deadline of January 5th. The reason why is we want to ensure that you guys have the capability to go ahead and apply for financial aid, for scholarships, and for student housing. You can absolutely still apply by March 1st. We just can't guarantee those things. And I know at least people are going to be wanting either some kind of scholarships or some kind of financial aid to help fund things, especially during this COVID world. So some things to keep in mind, whether you're a transfer student or a freshman, incoming freshman, is you will of course have to fill out our online application. It is a $70 application fee. However, the good thing to keep in mind is that we do offer application fee waivers, which I'll go over in just a moment. For the freshmen, you will want to make sure to submit your high school transcript. That is very important. You can either upload it unofficially or officially. And then of course, we will look for the transfer students, we'll want your college transcripts. And for if you want to submit it, you are welcome or encouraged, I should say, to submit some supplemental documents. Some examples of this is going to be a letter of recommendation, a personal statement or resumes, or a list of accomplishment. Really, there's no restrictions when it comes to submitting these supplemental documents. It's not required in any way, so really, like the topics for the personal statement can be whatever you want it to be. The resumes or list of accomplishments, you can list it however you want. I've seen it all sorts of different ways. And the letters of recommendation can come from whoever you would like it to come from. Of course, we do always recommend having at least one academic teacher submitting a letter of recommendation to, let us know like, hey, this student is a great student. They're going to succeed at your college. That always helps, of course. So kind of touching base on those application fee waivers. Those application fee waivers are going to be for prospective freshmen that also qualify for one of the following. It's going to be our free and reduced lunch, our SAT, ACT fee waiver, or the NACAC fee waiver. So if you're a student and have not submitted your application already and you qualify for this, definitely be sure to fill out the form and go ahead and email it to us. In the chat, you guys will see is going to be the link for the application fee waiver, as well as our freshman admissions freshman application checklist and transfer application checklist. So that way you guys can go ahead and refer back to these at a later point. As far as transcripts go, I know that's always a big question is, do I really need my official one? Do I not? Or have I already submitted it? Have you guys received it? Is my application complete? That's always a really big thing. So freshmen, we always encourage you guys to upload an unofficial, at least a minimum, an unofficial transcript to your application itself. Your high schools are of course welcome to go ahead and submit them to us as well. But for freshmen, we will not officially need your official application until after you're accepted and graduated from high school. But if you want to submit it to us now, that's no problem. We'll be happy to accept that. For transfers, same kind of thing where we don't need your official college transcripts until you're accepted. But because of the way our transfer system process works, I will always recommend incoming transfer students to go ahead and submit their official college transcripts. That way we can just go ahead and expedite your transfer process, because basically once you're accepted, we'll go ahead and start working on your transfer credit evaluation. But we can't do that until we officially have your official transcripts. So definitely make sure to go ahead and send those in. We are happy to receive them digitally. So as you guys can see on the screen, you'll see is going to be our email. So if your college or your high school is able to send it to us digitally, please have them do so. Just because I know with the COVID world, it's been really difficult to do mail. It's been a lot slower, especially with the election and everything that just went by. So if they are able to send it digitally to us, that is absolutely welcomed. It's always the fastest method for us. I know we mentioned this a little bit earlier about your resume, list of accomplishments, personal statements, or letters of recommendation. So if you all of a sudden were like, okay, wait, I already turned in my application, but I want to go ahead and add these documents to my application. Is it too late? Absolutely not. So you guys can go ahead and submit them at any point. So we're going to go ahead and put the link in the chat for if you want to go ahead and add a personal statement or a list of accomplishments to your application, as well as if there's somebody you want to go ahead and send them a recommendation form for them to go ahead and fill out. You can go ahead and go to that link, fill out their email address, and it will automatically send it to your recommender. So that's a great way to go ahead and add any, supplemental documents if that's something you want to add. Like I mentioned before, don't worry, it is completely optional. So always good to keep in mind. Oh, let's see, we got a great question that asks for transfers applying for the spring. If an official transcript was sent while applying, would you recommend to send an updated transcript after being accepted? So yeah, so what I will recommend, of course, if we have your most up-to-date one, say if you took classes over summer or, whatever your most recent semester, if that's the official one we have, but then you're taking classes again this semester for fall, then I would go ahead and recommend sending in your official final transcript once you're done with your classes from this semester. If you didn't take any classes this semester and we already have your official transcript from, previously, then you should be good. But of course, you can always send our admissions an email, just checking in, being like, hey, just want to make sure everything looks good. We'll be happy to check on it for you. Great question. So I know you're thinking probably, okay, well, I've applied. I'm still waiting to hear back. What's the next steps? Like, what happens now? I know for a lot of my students that I've worked with throughout the year, you guys may have heard that our application takes around a month to hear back. And it has in the past, but with the COVID world, and we've seen a huge increase in number of our applications, right now, our current processing time is about 8 to 10 weeks. So if you haven't heard back from us yet, please do not stress. I know it can be a stressful time. It's probably still, being processed. But that being said, if you're just curious and want to check on it, you absolutely can. You can stop by our virtual front desk, send us an email. We are more than welcome to go ahead and check on that for you. If we are missing something from your application, we will go ahead and send you what we call as a LAC email, which basically says, hey, this is what we're missing. Please turn it in as soon as possible. So if we send you a LAC email, we are not going to continue with your application process until we receive that document. Not a big deal. People forget stuff all the time. But once we receive that item of whatever is missing, we will go ahead and then put your application back into the process and then go ahead and continue the application process. So definitely be sure to keep checking your emails just to see, if we're missing anything. Of course, you can always check with us to see. But really in that situation, you'll hear back from us. So I always recommend students as well to keep checking your regular email, but also check your spam box. And that's not just for our college, that's going to be for all colleges, especially with, everyone sending out so many emails every week. Some can tend to get in the spam box, which nobody really checks anymore. So definitely keep an eye on that just in case. I've had students where we've sent them their acceptance letter via email and then it was in their spam box for almost 3 weeks. So I don't want that to happen to you guys. So just get in the habit of checking it once a week, just during this period, of course. All right, perfect. I see a great question asking about the completing the recommendation request form. The question asks, is it sent to the person you are asking to recommend you, or should we ask them to send it to the admissions email? So yeah, great question. So basically with that is, if you fill out the form to go ahead and request for somebody to, make a recommendation about you, you'll go ahead and send that to the recommender themselves, and or basically fill it out. It'll send it to them, and then they will log on and fill it out for you. But say if you already have the letter of recommendation, you have a copy of it ready to go, you can go ahead and email it to us, or the recommender is always welcome to email it to us as well. And then we can go ahead and attach it that way. So email works, or using the form works. We're pretty flexible. Whatever works best for you guys works for us. Great question. So definitely keep checking those emails. And then while you guys are in the process of waiting for your application to see if you've been accepted or not, be sure to go ahead and go online and fill out your FAFSA if you haven't already. The priority deadline for FAFSA is going to be on February 1st. And the earlier you apply, the more money you get. So definitely apply now if you haven't already. If you're a student that is applicable for our new Warrior Scholarships, those are going to be due on January 5th. System scholarships. Most important thing to note is that you cannot apply for STAR scholarships or the UH system scholarships officially until you're accepted to the university. However, our new Warrior scholarships, as long as you have applied to the university and are currently in progress, you can absolutely apply to those. As long as you have, for all of these scholarships, you'll just want to ensure that you apply by January 5th, that priority deadline, or you will not be applicable for these. So always think January 5th for pretty much that, and then go ahead and knock out that new Warrior scholarships if you're applicable. And then you can start thinking about those STAR scholarships and UH system scholarships as soon as you're accepted to the university. In the chat, you guys will go ahead and see is the guide that says financing your future. So if you guys want to refer back to all of our different scholarships, our financial aid, how all of that kind of works, what each thing means, go ahead and click on that link. You guys will see is going to be our digital brochure that goes over all of that, and they have interactive links that you can click on as well. Super useful. I know when I was a freshman going through all of this, I'm like, what is a subsidized loan? What's a grant? What's this? It's so confusing. So definitely check that out. And our financial aid actually offers a virtual front desk as well. So if you have any questions for them, definitely let them know too. Now, for those students who have been accepted to the university, congratulations. We're so excited to have you a part of the Rainbow Warrior Ohana. Right now, there's not too much to do for accepted students. It's kind of just, kind of a waiting game. Enjoy your senior year or enjoy your semester currently right now, at school, digitally, of course. But the most important things to do that you can do at this point is to go ahead and create your MyUH account if you guys haven't already. That MyUH account is where you'll be able to, of course, check your UH email. That you'll see that email that says hawaii.edu email. You can also check your financial aid and scholarships, or financial aid at least, on that website. There's a lot of different things. You can find your STAR account, which is how you'll register for classes later on. It's basically going to be your main hub for anything UH related once you're officially accepted. Of course, like I mentioned before, definitely make sure to go ahead and apply for those financial aid and scholarships. All of the applications are open and available, especially since you're an accepted student. And of course, we always recommend for you to connect with us if you have any questions. I know you guys are already doing that today, so you're one step ahead already. Now, if you guys are kind of wondering what the timeline looks like as far as, okay, I've been accepted, what exactly, am I on track? Am I doing the right things? Of course, you can always check our new Warrior checklist, which you'll see the link in the chat. But most important thing to think about is kind of just make that UH account. You'll apply to scholarships, coming up either between now and March. That March 1st is that final deadline. And then most students usually start to receive their financial aid package. It starts beginning in March. So if you log on to your MyUH account, you haven't received your financial aid package yet, do not worry, you are not alone. No one has received their package yet for fall 2021. We usually receive the money from the state, usually in February, mid-February-ish. So that's when our financial aid team starts putting together those packages. And it's going to be in a first come, first served basis for that. So basically for financial aid, it's just going to be If you applied sooner and you got accepted sooner, you'll hear back first. So if you applied, more in December, which is before the priority, but you hear back in like January or so, most likely for financial aid, you'll hear from us probably March or so, like end of March, early April. So don't worry. Of course, you can always check your status with them as well at their virtual front desk. In March is approximately when we should expect to see the student housing application open for fall 2021. So definitely be sure to keep a lookout for that. The deadline for housing is not going to be until May 1st, which is also our intent to enroll and tuition deadline date. So even if you guys get accepted, today, or if you're already accepted, you don't officially have to let us know until May 1st. So you have that time to decide, to hear back about your scholarships, to hear back about your financial aid, to hear back about your other schools' admissions, and kind of weigh those pros and cons to see what's the best fit for you. And then you go ahead and let us know. Of course, if you already know and you're dead set in coming to Manoa, you can go ahead and submit that intent to enroll today. Totally up to you, just letting you know you do have time if you do want to take the time for that. For our fall 2021 course registration, that does occur in May. It's usually the last couple weeks of May. So definitely keep a lookout for that. Keep checking your hawaii.edu email, and we'll be sure to let you know when the registration is opening. And we, of course, encourage you to talk to your academic advisor to see what kind of classes you need for, the upcoming semester. We also do require a health clearance form. You won't have to worry about that. It's going to be due in July. That's, 8 months from now. You've got plenty of time to, do that later. So no stress for that. And our tuition deadline and classes begin. Our semester always begins in August. Typically, it's the third Monday of the month, but it can change. So there's no official date set yet, but once there is a date set, we will definitely let you guys know. All right, I see some great questions asking about what are the deadlines for spring students. So for spring students, I know it's a little bit different with the deadlines, just because there aren't really official deadlines. It's a little bit different where, of course, for the past year or the past semester, we're no longer accepting spring 2021 applications, but say if you've already been accepted, you'll definitely want to make sure to turn in that FAFSA as soon as possible, as well as the student housing application as soon as possible. There's no closing date for it, but the sooner you turn it in, the better. So great question about that. And then I see a question that asks, if we've been accepted to UH and have gotten an email, is there going to be some kind of letter or envelope that will come through the mail? Great question. So unfortunately, there's not going to be an official envelope through the mail like we have done in previous years. We talked about it. We really want to be able to give that to you. But unfortunately, with COVID, we're actually all still working remotely from home. And so we aren't in the office of where we can physically ship out packages to students. However, though, if you really want like the official acceptance letter, like PDF form that you can print out, and take a photo with, by all means, send us an email. We'll be happy to do that for you guys. We understand that this is not a normal year, and we want to try to make things as exciting as possible for you guys. And then also something to keep in mind too is I know many of you guys are not really on Facebook anymore whatsoever. I totally get it. Instagram's the thing now. But as oldies over here, we still use it. But that being said, with Facebook, we do have a Facebook group for the new Warriors 2021. So for all incoming students for that year, feel free to go ahead and join the Facebook group. It is public, but you have to fill out a few questions to go ahead and get accepted to it. So just make sure to fill out your student information on it. I'm actually the one who's responsible for that Facebook group. So I'll go ahead and approve, your request to join, and then you're going to meet other students who are also in the same shoes as you. And it's a good way to kind of connect with other students who've also been accepted. All right, and this is a great question as well, kind of jumping back to our financial aid and FAFSA. This person is asking, when you say apply for FAFSA, you mean apply on the FAFSA website, correct? Yes, you got it, absolutely. So you'll want to make sure to go ahead and apply on the FAFSA website and go ahead and indicate that you would like your FAFSA records to be sent to our university. So basically when you're on that form, it'll ask you which schools would you like to submit your FAFSA to. You can just go ahead. Personally, for me, what I do is I just type in Hawaii, and then there's only like 8 schools, 9 schools, maybe, I think it's just over 10 schools. So you can easily do that and find us, go ahead and click on it. Or you can type Manoa, where usually the first one that comes up for Manoa, there's no other school called that. So either way works for that. And then, yeah, just make sure we go ahead and receive that before that February 1st deadline. Great question. All right. So we're going to go ahead and go into a full Q&A. So we have about 20 minutes for the Q&A. So if you guys have questions about pretty much anything admissions related or UH related, definitely be sure to go ahead and keep typing those questions in the Q&A like you guys already have been. Like I mentioned before, we're going to go ahead and put this recording of the presentation up on YouTube, as well as if you guys have questions later on, be sure to let us know. You can stop by our virtual front desk, you can make a one-on-one appointment, or of course you can always email us. If you have any financial aid questions, definitely be sure to let them know. Especially with COVID, we know that things keep changing on a daily basis, where maybe you submitted your FAFSA back in October, but then your financial aid situation has changed over the past couple months. Be sure to let the financial aid department know that. That way they can make sure your package is the most up to date for when you do receive it. And for those who are wondering, okay, I've been accepted to the university, but like, what classes do I take for this? What classes do I need to take? What are my graduation requirements? I'm trying to transfer a class. What will it fully transfer as? Any of those classes related, or any of those questions relating to exactly what classes you need to take, definitely be sure to let your academic advisor know if you have questions on that. On admissions team, we would love to be able to help you answer those questions, but unfortunately, we don't know. I wish we did, but we don't. We only work with admissions, but we have specific advisors for each major as well as each college that will be happy to advise you. We also do have pre-med academic advisors. We also have pre-law advisors. We have pretty much a pre-advisor for every type of career you can pretty much think of, as far as like grad schools and med schools as well. So definitely be sure to let us know. Yeah, if you guys have questions, feel free to go ahead and keep putting them in the chat. We also will, of course, put these links as well in the chat as well. So definitely, if you have questions, you can copy and paste them into your browsers so that we have access to it later. And we went ahead and put that Manoa admissions email. It's in the chat now. So you guys, any questions, let us know. Any questions? We are here for you. Oh, perfect. I just got a question that asks, all right, so I got a question that asks, once we start to chat back and forth with an admissions advisor, are we going to continue chatting with that one advisor, or are we going to be chatting with multiple advisors? This is a great question. And so with the way it works with that is kind of like, so for each student, you have an admissions advisor based on the region you are from, or what state or country you're from. So definitely be sure to check our, meet your recruiter, which is like where you'll see the appointments that say one-on-one appointment. So you'll go ahead and chat with them, work with them. And then basically, if you want to go start talking to an academic advisor, we will go ahead and refer you to your specific academic advisor. But admissions wise, we are here to assist you pretty much through most of the steps here on out. We think of us kind of like the front desk that's kind of my best analogy for that, where if you have a question, you can definitely let us know. If we're not the right people, we'll go ahead and direct you to who can assist you. So that's definitely a great question. So you'll most likely work with one person, but then when it comes to academics and financial aid, you'll start working with more than one in that situation. Nice. This is also a great question that says, when we do receive our digital, when do we receive our digital admissions package? So great question. So for that, right now, I know they're a little bit delayed, but basically the digital admissions package is going to say exactly the same things that your initial acceptance email is going to say, plus the new Warrior checklist. It'll just kind of dive into that new Warrior checklist a little bit more. So usually right now we say it's a few weeks after receiving that initial email, but it kind of varies just based on our side of things, how long it will take. But if you're ever curious about that or have questions about the new Warrior checklist while you're waiting, definitely be sure to let us know. We'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. And moderator just went ahead and put in the chat the new Warrior checklist link. Great question. I see another question that asks, how do we know how much financial aid we are entitled to when applying? Is it easier to apply undecided, or should we choose something and then be able to change it later on? Great question. So for that, there's actually a financial aid, I think it's like financial aid net calculator that we have on our financial aid website that you can actually go to that will help you kind of predict approximately how much financial aid you will get. It really kind of helps to let you know what's going on. And then of course, on top of just that approximate net calculator, you can go ahead and apply for scholarships and financial aid, which will really help as well with being able to finance your future at Manoa. And as far as selecting your major, it really doesn't matter what major you apply as. That's a great thing about Manoa is the only impacted major we have is pretty much nursing and dental hygiene. Everything else is fair game that you can apply for any major. You can always change your major later as well. So if you ever decide to change your major, you can go ahead and just send us an email, let us know your first name and last name, your date of birth, what your current major is, and what you would like to change your major to. And then we'll be happy to change it. It's really simple. It takes us about 5 minutes on our end. But of course, if you're really not sure, you can always apply as exploratory. Options are completely up to you. And even if you choose exploratory and then want to change it to something official later on, we can do that too. That's no problem. All right, and then I see another great question that asks, when is the registration class deadline for spring transfer students? Ooh, this is a great question. I don't know off the top of my head. I believe it's coming up fairly soon, and then obviously within the next month for sure. But I'll see if I can find out for you, and I'll send you an email afterwards to let you know officially. So I'll keep in touch with you about that. All right. Any other questions from anyone? All right, well, if there's no further questions, we want to, of course, say mahalo for joining us here today. Definitely feel free to connect with us at any time. No question is too silly. We are here to assist you in any way we can. On the screen, of course, you guys will see all your different contact information, as well as for financial aid, academic advising, and student housing. And after the session today, you guys are going to go ahead and receive a survey asking for your feedback. So we'd love to hear what you think of this session. We will be having many more of these sessions in the spring as well, specifically for accepted students. So definitely be sure to keep checking your emails or checking Instagram and social media. We'll be sure to post more of the upcoming events later on. Oh, and one last question that says, what's the minor process like? So for adding a minor, you won't officially declare a minor until pretty much graduation, but you'll just want to make sure to talk to the academic advisor for that minor that you're wanting to do. They'll let you know exactly which classes you do, which classes you need. You'll go ahead and complete those classes, and then when you're filing for graduation, You'll go ahead and make sure to complete the minor form showing that you've taken all of those classes for the minor, and then it'll show up on your graduation diploma. Great question. Yeah. Perfect. So yeah, this will go ahead and this will conclude our Warrior webinar session for today. We appreciate you guys all coming. We hope you guys have a wonderful holiday, and definitely make sure to stay safe, and we will talk to you soon. Aloha.